Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute, Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shatru buddhi vinashaya Deepajyotir namostute Deepajyotir namostute Shubham Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah Shubham Kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to today's session. Today, we have with us Dr. Jyoti Matkar. She is a dentist, psychologist, and counselor, and also a lifelong learner. She will be presenting on cognitive behavioral therapy. So over to you, ma'am, for your session on cognitive behavioral therapy. We welcome you to the international webinar series. You can start your audio, video, and session. Over to you.
Very good evening to all. Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you to the Almighty for granting me this opportunity, and thank you to the people to whom the Almighty gave me this platform. My topic of discussion today is cognitive behavioral therapy. So cognitive behavioral therapy, it was given by Dr. Aaron T. Beck in the year 1960 to 1970. And it has three components. What are the three components of cognitive behavioral therapy? The three components of cognitive behavioral therapy are cognitive component, behavioral component, and therapy component. So cognitive component, basically, it comprises of thinking process, perceptual process, learning, memory, decision making, and logical, illogical reasoning. And problem solving. Yes, problem solving also comes under cognitive component. Behavioral component comprises of our actions. And therapy component. Therapy is basically it's a healing process. It's not a treatment. It's a basically healing process which is applied by therapeutic alliance of two people with a common purpose, common objective. Who are these two people? Therapist, counselor, and the client. Two of them, they make an alliance, therapeutic alliance for one common purpose, one common goal, and that common purpose, common goal is healing of the client. So for that, via this therapy component, we are going to heal. The therapist is going to heal the cognitive work on the cognitive component of the client and the behavioral component of the client. Now, this cognitive behavioral therapy, it is interpreted in two ways. One is that I am applying the therapeutic component on myself to to work on my cognitive component, which is distorted. My thinking, perception, decision making, and decision making, all these abilities, memory, all this cognitive component, it is impaired, it is distorted. And I am working on my cognitive component to affect my behavioral component. This is one interpretation. Another interpretation is that the counselor or the therapist is using his cognitive abilities, he is using his behavioral abilities to increase the cognitive level of the client and improve the functioning of the client, behavioral component of the client. So that is another interpretation. So basically, what is the role of the counselor and therapist? The counselor never gives ready-made solutions to the client. The counselor or therapist uplifts the cognitive component of the client so that he or she can take their own decisions and solve their own problems. So the therapist's role is just to help the client to take his or her decision, solve his or her own problems themselves by working on the cognitive component of the client, altering the behavior component of the client, and using his or her cognitive component and behavior component to alter the behavior and the cognition level of the client by certain exercises. These are homework, which is the essential component of cognitive behavior therapy. So now, I have discussed what is cognitive behavior therapy, what are the components, and who invented it, and what are the psychological cases in which this therapy is advocated. It is given in cases of anxiety, moderate anxiety patients. It's given in anxiety disorder patients. Anxiety disorder is severe anxiety, and it is given in depression patients, bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, worry, people who worry too much, and overthinking, people who overthink a lot, procrastination, people who have a problem with leaving everything for tomorrow. That is procrastination. And ones who have social phobia, and it is given to ones who have social phobia, and also ones who are suffering from eating disorder, sleep disorder, to all these patients who have dysfunctional lifestyle. To them, we give this cognitive behavior therapy. Now, what is the core focus of cognitive behavior therapy? Where does it focus? The core focus of cognitive behavior therapy is to change the dysfunctional thoughts and behavior to functional thoughts and behavior. That is maladaptive thoughts and behavior. That is negative thoughts and behavior are converted to transform to positive thoughts and behavior, dysfunctional maladaptive thoughts and behavior to adaptive and functional thoughts and behavior, and also unhelpful thoughts, unhealthy thoughts and behavior, unhelpful thoughts and behavior to healthy thoughts and behavior. So that is the core focus of cognitive behavior therapy. Now, there is a model in cognitive behavior therapy. What is that model in cognitive behavior therapy? The model in cognitive behavior therapy is the model ABC model. Now, what is this ABC model? Actually, A stands for antecedent, anticipating event, precipitating event, and antecedent, activating event, and triggering factors. Yes, triggering factors. B designates belief and C designates consequences. Now, I will give an example. Like suppose there is a couple. They worked in the same. This is an example. They worked in the same office and they fell in love with each other. Now they decided that they will get married to each other. Now, when they got married, the situation was that the man tells to the woman that you stay at home, you be a homemaker now, you take care of my mother, you take care of my family, and I will work. And she does not face any problem also. She agrees. There are all the employees in the home. There is a cook, there is a washerwoman, there is a maid, everyone is there. She just has to take care of the mother of that guy and she has to take care of the family. Now, they have allotted a particular time slot that at this time slot, they're going to communicate with each other on the phone. And now the guy is promoted. Daily they have interaction on their time slot, but he's promoted and there's a hike in his salary. Also, the work overload increases. Now, when he's getting a promotion, definitely they will give him more work to do. So the work overload is increased. Now, at the decided slot, the person, the wife rings that person up, her husband up, and he doesn't pick up the phone because he's busy with some other work. Now, immediately negative automatic thoughts enter her mind that, now his behavior has changed towards me. He doesn't love me as he used to love me before. He's not that much committed towards me. And he's got a promotion. There's a hike in his salary and I'm just a housewife. So he's looking down upon me. He doesn't love me. He looks down upon me. He disregards me. That's why he didn't pick up my phone. So what are these thoughts? They are dysfunctional thoughts. They are negative automatic thoughts. So these thoughts, the anticipating event in this ABC model, anticipating event, activating event, triggering factor was he did not pick up the phone because he was occupied with some work. Now the thoughts which are entering in that lady's mind, they are negative automatic thoughts, they are beliefs, and they become fixed beliefs, core beliefs. And with these beliefs, what happens? Her emotions are triggered, and then they have an impact on the feelings of the lady. And what are the consequences? Consequences is there is emotional turmoil going inside her. And when that poor guy enters the house in the evening, after a long, busy daily schedule, there may be a volcanic eruption at the home. In the emotional storm, it may become outside. So he will have to face that. So this is the ABC theory. So what is the role of counselor out here? What is the role of the client, counselor or therapist? He cannot tell the client that your thinking is wrong. The counselor has to help the client identify his or her thinking pattern. He has to help her raise the cognitive process of the client, help the client identify his or her thinking pattern. And when the thinking pattern is recognized by the client that my thinking was wrong, I was thinking wrong, it was the other way around, then automatically the behavior of the client will change. So that is cognitive behavior therapy. Now, homework. Yes, homework is another essential part of cognitive behavior therapy. So now I'm going to give you all I'll give you 2 examples of the homework. I just want you all to note it down so that you can practice it. And just practice it at home, note down the steps. And if any problem you face, you can write it in my mail ID that we're facing problem, whatever problem you face. So the first homework is you have to identify negative automatic thought or a worry. Write it on the top of a sheet of a paper. Any thought that troubles you, any worry that enters your mind that troubles you, which is affecting your functionality, which is making you dysfunctional, write it on a sheet of paper. Divide the sheet of paper into 2 columns. Left column, you write 5 things in your 3 things in your control, and right side, write 3 things that are not in your control. This is homework 1. Now, like suppose for example, if a girl says that I'm fat, so what are the 3 things? I'm fat and my fatness is affecting, I'm not getting married because of that. So what are the 3 things that you can control? The 3 things has to have you that are in your control is in the left side of the left column of the paper. You can control your diet, you can control your exercise, you can control your thinking process, and you can pass positive affirmations to yourself. Instead of saying I'm fat, you can say, oh, I'm so cute. So that is a positive affirmation. So that is in your control. And the other right side of the paper, you write 3 things that are not in your control. In your control, what's not in your control? It's not in your control the way others think about you, the way others speak to you, and the way others comment on your fatness, obesity. These 3 things are not in your control. So write that down. Any problem that is troubling you, anything that is affecting your functionality, write on the top of the paper. Left side, 3 things you can control to solve that problem. Right side, 3 things that you can that are not in your control. And then after that, write down a prayer. Recite a prayer to God. Dear God, give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. This is one homework. Now another homework in this cognitive behavior therapy. You note this also down. Another homework in cognitive behavior therapy is on the top of the paper, write a negative automatic thought, anything that is disturbing you. that is affecting your functionality. Or it could be some worry also. Divide the paper, make a cross, one straight vertical line on a sheet of paper and one straight horizontal line from the mid of the paper. So you're dividing the sheet into 4 quadrants. In the upper left quadrant, you're going to write 4. 4 is the thoughts that are favoring your negative automatic thought, which is written on the top of the sheet of the paper. On the lower left quadrant, you're going to write factual evidence. Factual evidence, that is, what is the proof that favor, evidence that favor that negative automatic thought which is disturbing you, troubling you. On the upper right of the sheet, you have to write against. Now you have to write those thoughts that are against your negative automatic thoughts, which are telling you that your thought is wrong. And below in the lower right corner, you have to write factual evidence for that. Now this, take an example that in this particular homework of cognitive behavior therapy, you're in a courtroom and your negative automatic thought is a problematic thought. And in that 4th section is a lawyer who is in favor of your negative automatic thought, who's speaking in favor of that. Below that, factual evidence. Right side is the lawyer who is against your negative, speaking against your negative automatic thought, trying to bring in front of you that you're thinking wrong, your way of thinking is wrong. And below, factual evidence to write that. Now again, I will give another example for this. Take for example, there is a teenager. She frequently likes to go outside with her friends and enjoy. She likes partying, and she likes junk food and all that. And she wants her mom to daily cook it at home. And one day her mom stops her from going outside with her friends. Now her mom scolds her. Now she will say, "Oh, my mother does not love me." So this is negative automatic thought. So that is to be written on the top of the sheet. My mother does not love me. Under the 4th section, she has to write all the thoughts that favor that negative automatic thought. So what are the thoughts? That day I wanted to go out with my friends, she refused. And these have to be written under factual evidence. Under 4th section, she always scolds me. She doesn't cook my favorite food. All this comes under 4. Factual evidence, that day I wanted to go out. She didn't permit me to go out with my friends. She scolded me. She doesn't cook my favorite. All this are factual evidence. Now in against section, you have to write, you have to recap. Did your mother never show goodness to you? Your thinking is wrong. Was she never kind to you? Was she never happy with your success? Did she never help you in anything? And factual evidence, you have to remind yourself of those things when your mother was happy with your progress, when she was happy with your success, when you dressed up beautifully and she said, "Oh, my daughter is looking so beautiful." So all that under factual evidence. So the purpose of these 2 exercises is to help the client identify their negative automatic thoughts, to help them transform their negative automatic thoughts into positive, so that their behavior is affected. So in this particular example, which I cited just now, when the mother scolds a girl and she says, "Oh, my mother does not love me." So A was the antecedent or anticipating event triggering factor. B belief was, "My mother does not love me." Consequence was not speaking to mother, maintaining a boundary and ignoring her. Now when the thought is brought in front of the girl that the mother loved her, that she was actually worried about the daughter, she cared for the daughter so much, she scolded her because she wanted the daughter to sit at home and focus on her career. Rather than going and partying and enjoying her lifestyle, she wanted her daughter to become a responsible citizen, to become a hardworking, and realize she wanted her daughter to grow up. That's why the mother scolded. So when the factual thing is brought into in front of the girl, that the mother really wanted to see her daughter self-dependent and smart and intelligent enough to stand on her feet, that's why she scolded her. What will be the belief will change? Antecedent is the same. Belief will change, behavior will change. The girl will say sorry to the mother. So this is ABC model. And in this ABC model, one more thing, like if there's a patient of aggression, what is the behavior of that patient of aggression? Temper tantrums. Now, what is the behavior of a patient with depression? He will not perform any work at all. So, when we apply these CBT, we basically help the main thing is when we apply the CBT, we basically help the client to identify counselor helps the client to identify the maladaptive thoughts, to work on it, and to change their behavior. So that is the purpose of CBT. And with this, I end my topic. Thank you manifold for granting me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti Makka, for your insightful session on CBT. Participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand or you can use chat box to share your queries, observations, if any, or you can unmute yourself. Yeah, Mary, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, ma'am. Actually, it is very informative, and I learned a lot of things from this session because this topic is new to me. So I have learned a lot from this session. I got a lot of knowledge, and all the best for your next session, and hope to see you in more sessions in our platform. God bless you. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mary ma'am. Anyone else would like to ask queries? You can feel free to share your observations or queries. Yeah, you can, Ramya, you can unmute and ask, ma. The query is.
Hi, ma'am.
Please go
Yes,
ahead.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. I have a query. Your presentation was very wonderful and splendid. I have expected for this cognitive behavioral therapy, and I have a query about cognitive behavioral therapy. How to apply about cognitive behavioral therapy in bipolar disorder cases and schizophrenia cases?
In bipolar disorder, basically bipolar disorder is of depression. It's a form of depression only. Bipolar disorder has alternating phase of depression and mania. So in depression, the patient has these two occur concurrently. So in this, what happens, like the patient has all the depressive features: hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness. So this hopelessness, helplessness, and worthlessness, which is a negative automatic thought. So that I explained 2 exercises today. So there are many exercises. There are many gratitude exercises also. And the exercise which I explained today, you have to write that negative automatic thought. You have to help the client identify the negative automatic thought that nobody is hopeless, nobody is worthless, nobody is helpless. You have to help him identify that thought and change it. So from that hopelessness, we have to bring the client to the state of hopefulness. From that helplessness, we have to bring the client to the state of helpfulness, and hopelessness, helplessness, and worthlessness. So from that, we have to bring the client to the state of hopefulness, helpfulness, and worthfulness. We have to bring out the inner confidence out of the client. We can practice NLP also in the client in this case. We can practice the gratitude exercises also, see the good things in life. We can apply positive psychotherapy also. There are many ways. And we can apply this CBT also. And when that client identifies that the thought is negative and the thought is affecting the behavior, it is basically the thought that is affecting the mood of the client. That does not allow the client to be fully functional. When that thought is transformed, obviously the behavior is transformed and the client becomes fully functional. So there are many techniques applied. It's not only this. And regarding this schizophrenia, that is a case of psychosis. So in that case, it is, you have to work very too much on the client. That is a difficult case, but it's not impossible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I have got a clearance in those cases. Thank you so much. Thank
Because
you, sir.
basically, schizophrenia, the client is having hallucination and delusion, and he is having the fixed belief that what he's going through, he is considering it's an unshakable belief, fixed, unshakable belief. So first of all, and it's very difficult to help the client accept it that his belief is, it's not true. So, but by working, it's not impossible. If we work on it, everything is possible.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. It was good.
First and foremost thing, ma'am, is rapport building. You have to build a rapport with this schizophrenic patient, psychosis patient. To apply any therapy, first you have to build a rapport.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, nice. It was. It was so many years ago. I got this query because while I'm studying, I got this query. I don't get an answer, proper answer in the field as well as in the study. So now we have got a clear answer. If you are free, take next therapy as Sigmund Freud theory as another lesson for us. So the Sigmund Freud theory will be very useful to us. So that behavioral therapy is there. So lots of so many therapies. So you just take another therapy and just give us another
Fine,
presentation.
I will be taking therapies only mostly.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Okay.
See, basically, CBT or any REBT, anything which is related to this cognitions, basically, our thought process, this triangle of, our thoughts, feelings, and which are reflecting on our actions. So basically, what we think, what we feel, it will reflect on the actions. So basically, we are trying to address the thoughts, the kind of cognition, the cognitive process that is happening. So based on that, we have to, give them proper rationale at why such. We can question the thoughts, whether it is relevant, logical, or whether it is realistic or it's just a fear. So basically, there are various approaches, for these and different kind of therapies. We use, a combination of therapies, but CBT works, good for most of it because, we are addressing the cognitive process. And based on that, we will make the client to review their cognitive process and how it is going, how it is impacting them, and how it is reflecting on the behaviors. And as already ma'am also mentioned, there are various factors, for these actions or behaviors. So whether we also need to see underlying psychopathology, when we have, especially when we are dealing with the cases of depression or schizophrenia or bipolar, there is some, organic reasons also behind. So we need to supplement, or we need to complement along with medication. We need to give various therapies, and it again depends on various factors, like already Dr. Jyoti has mentioned. So, basically it depends on case to case again, how we are approaching that. And yes, this kind of dilemma is always there, not only with youngsters, but even with the professionals also. Even no matter how senior, how qualified it is, we always have this kind of dilemma to which one to go with. And sometimes we go with the dialectical or electrical models, that is with along with one or more therapies together, or a combination of one or more therapies. So it all depends, based on the assessment case history and the prevailing condition. So we cannot say that this is, this can be applicable for each and everyone, but case to case it changes. So maybe the best person would be the one who is assessing and who is providing the, therapy. So based on the condition, based on the client, and nowadays client preference is also, is the most important, because adherence to the therapy or the treatment is more important. And whether it is feasible or not, because client is the one who is finally, going through the treatment. He is the one who takes decision. Counselor or a psychologist or a therapist is the one who always guides, or provides information so that the client can take informed decision. So, ultimately the client is the one who takes the decision, and based on different aspects, like various aspects, as I was mentioning, psychopathology, and if there is any underlying, medico, psycho, social, and various cultural factors, we need to see what is the condition that is training and underlying causes. So based on that, we can choose one or more therapy, or which would be the best therapy. So especially with the conditions like, severe depression or bipolar or schizophrenia, these are, very serious conditions. So depending on that, we can use one or more therapies and involve client in a much better way. So if you still have queries, if you are very specific, then I think Dr. Jyoti or I can address. If it is very specific, if you can share, maybe you can also get very specific answers. So generally, it would be very difficult, because we have different situations. So it maybe you may not be able to get very specific answer of what you are looking for. If you have a very specific case, then maybe we can take it as a study and then try to provide some suggestions on that.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So anyone else have any further queries? Feel free to share. Okay, if there are no queries, then thank you, Dr. Jyoti Makar ma'am. It was very insightful. And thank you, Mary and Ramya, for your queries, and hope your queries got answered.
Yes, sir. I got a clear answer, and I have a continuous answer through Jyoti Makarma. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable answer and presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we will move on to our next session for today's commemorations. So as we know, we have been regularly commemorating various events. And today, though we do not have international commemorations by UN and the UN system, we have other commemorations like International Mind Body Wellness Day, It is an opportunity to celebrate how a healthy mind and a healthy emotions means a healthy body. So the mind, body, soul connection plays an integral role in our overall health and well-being. We know this is not a new concept. It's quite as old as, the evolution. And even nowadays also, though we have been very specific and very, very specialized in treatment, and often it is being, isolated kind of treatment that is happening. But nowadays we are learning that just addressing very specific issue, we are not getting the desired outcome. So nowadays we have holistic health approach, not just addressing very specific thing, but we are a social animal, and the surroundings also, the environment also influences us in various ways. So we need to have a holistic health approach where we need to address mind, that is, psychological or mental, whatever we call, and body, the physiological or physical aspects, and the soul, that is the spiritual aspects of our holistic health, and various other aspects also included. And this is a connection that plays an integral role in overall health and well-being. So our emotions, purpose, spirituality, experience, goals, beliefs, habits, and actions all have an important impact on mind-body harmony and overall health. So this is why this day, especially especially at the start of the year, because nothing is more important than creating the best possible. And what better time it could be than New Year for everyone. Actually, this day, the history, when we look at the history, the best-selling author, TEDx speaker, and mind-body wellness expert, J.J. Myra, knows the full power of harmonizing mind, body, and soul, and its impact on physical health. So using only holistic strategies, including purpose and mindfulness, she healed herself from fibromyalgia, anxiety, and depression when allopathy medicine failed her to help her. So this led her to create the Well method and the right soul of purpose, looking at the direct connections between the spirituality, purpose, and health. So the concept of mind-body wellness have been around for literally thousands of years. And there are plenty of ways that we can elevate, and our mind-body wellness and promote overall well-being. Everything from mindfulness, meditation, diet changes, spirituality, gratitude, mindset, purpose, and even decor and colors can put your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And we all are unique in terms of our purpose, goals, desires, beliefs, and even specific body type. So these are the various factors. We all are unique, and also at the same time, we all are having certain similarities and differences. So we should be appreciating individual differences. And our most ancient healing systems included Ayurveda, and traditional ancient medical systems recognize this and paved the way for other personalized approaches to bring the mind, body, soul into the state of harmony. So mind, body, wellness expert and best-selling author J.J. Myra has a few tips on how we can celebrate or how we can commemorate this day and also make it every day and mind-body wellness day. So she has used the Well method to create a personalized plan for a healthy mindset. The Well method to help people create a positive, healthy mindset. The beauty is each person can customize it to their own unique needs, beliefs, lifestyle, and personal ethos. So the framework is well short form. W stands for work-life harmony, or we can also call as work-life balance. E stands for expect, enable excellence, and the next letter L stands for live your purpose, and another L stands for love, not fear. So no matter what the goals are, and no matter what the challenges are, we have these method which can help us succeed and keep the important things in life in focus while reminding you that you are strong, worthy, and capable of anything. So basically, you can learn more about Well method in the Soul of Purpose book by J. Myra. It is available online. You can Google it and you can get that book. You can buy that book also. So, as already mentioned, since almost 5,000 years back and more, Ayurveda is the first ever known medicine system available to the living beings. In fact, not just to human beings, but even animals also. They had this knowledge of what to eat and what not to eat, and when they face some problem, they were also conscious of selecting and picking up and treating themselves. So they also know they doesn't eat each and everything whatever they see or whatever they come across. They are very selective also on eating. So this knowledge is not just limited to human beings, but this is the oldest system, or which we can call it as first ever system known to living kind, including all human beings, animals, planets. So Ayurveda, it is one of the limbs of Vedas, considered to be the oldest science, medical science or healing science, whatever you call, and arising from the ancient Vedic culture. So Ayurvedic knowledge originates in India. As knows, India has been a great source of knowledge, and we can call India as a source of knowledge on the planet, and paves way for many of the modern natural healing systems, even in the West. So later on, this traditional Chinese medicine, also known as TCL, was developed, and involving acupuncture, herbal medicine, cupping, massaging, and movement exercises like Tai Chi, based on their culture. They have adapted based on their cultures, practices, food preferences. And later on, after that, we also got this ancient Greek medicine, the humoral therapy, based on the idea that good health comes from a perfect balance of four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. This is a main medicine system during those times, and Hippocrates developed the Hippocratic Oath. And in later, in 1790s, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann uh, begins developing the form of complementary or alternative medicine called homeopathy, based on the idea that like cures like, small doses of natural substance that causes symptoms can help to improve those symptoms. So later on, we had various systems like hydrotherapy involving use of water for pain relief. The pioneers of hydrotherapy were Vincent Prezenest and Sebastian Kneipp in the 18th and 19th centuries. It eventually spreads to US when John Harvey Kellogg begins using it in the Battle Creek Sanatorium. Though this was not new, Ayurveda gives lot of details or accounts of using various elements, 5 elements and various other, ingredients that can be used for therapy. That includes water as a therapy ingredient. And this as a, in the West, it was widely became popular. And in 1870s, a branch of medical practice developed by Andrew Taylor, still in the US, osteopathy is an hands-on approach to the treatment of medical disorders through the manipulation and massage of bones, joints, and muscles. Later on in 1890s, David Palmer Daniel performs the first chiropractic adjustment on a janitor named William Harvey Lillard, who was suffering from partial deafness due to one of the vertebrae in his back popping out of position. Later on, even Reiki also emerged in 1914. Maji Kawakami, a Japanese therapist, creates a healing style he calls Reiki Ro, a healing technique based on the principle that therapists can channel energy into the patient by means of touch to activate the healing process of patient's body and restore physical and emotional well-being. In 1950s, this movement begins to counter the harmful effects of commercial pesticides, artificial fertilizers, genetic modification, food additives, and growth hormones in farming and agriculture. So that the organic farming has took in a big way. And practicing mindfulness can be done in so many ways. The key is to find techniques suited for your unique temperament and elemental type, whether that the meditation or that be a meditation or an exercise or an yoga or an act of kindness and service, mindful activity like eating or any mindful activity or practicing daily self-care and appreciation and mind-body wellness plays a huge role in improving quality of life. And also practicing gratitude. Often we talk of gratitude. Even personally, I have seen many people who give lectures on gratitude, but often in practice, they fail to practice gratitude. I don't know whether they are consciously doing or unconsciously doing, or they might be what my understanding is they are not used, because basically, if we don't practice it, we don't consciously remember. The problem we miss out is because of lack of practice. Only when we practice it regularly, it becomes part of us, part of the process, where we might talk of gratitude whole day, 24/7, 365 days, whatever it is. But if we don't put in practice, that will not truly reflect in a person's behavior, in a person's, cognitive process. So gratitude is very important, no matter how much lecture you give, but you should always express your gratitude and also in a proper way. Why? Why to express a gratitude? To become free from indebtedness. There is a very good reason or a great reason. What happens if you don't express gratitude? Many people also keep asking when we have these gratitude sessions or workshops, they keep asking us, okay, what will happen if I don't express my gratitude? When I take someone's support, when I take someone's help, or when someone is providing me an opportunity, it's okay, because whether they might ask you or does not ask you, that doesn't matter, because it all depends on us. See, whether someone asks or doesn't ask, respecting them and expressing our gratitude then is up to our personality, our individuality. It is nothing to do with the person, opposite person. It all reflects our own personality, our own upbringing, our own culture and tradition. So no matter how the opposite person is, but when we are conducting ourselves, how we are conducting ourselves, how we are expressing ourselves will help us to keep motivating and expressing in a better way. See, why this is important? Because we have this satisfaction that we have expressed our gratitude, and we have that feeling that, we appreciate it. We thank the person or the organization or the community which is supporting us, which is helping us. That will create a good feeling, positive energy, positive vibes that will help in this mind, body, soul coordination. And basically, we will have a very good feeling with positive emotions, positive attitude, and similarly, positive behavior. Overall, it will influence. That's why whatever we do, we have to start with expressing gratitude, and not only just expressing in a right way is also very important. By mentioning, it can be name of a person, name of an organization, or name of a community, or it can be anything which has given us the opportunity, or which has supported us, or which has mentored or guided us. So when we utilize any opportunity, or when we utilize any services, so we should start with a gratitude always. And a proper gratitude not only just reflects upon our own personality, but it also reflects how we are truthfully, mindfully, and consciously practicing gratitude. So no matter how much lectures you give, how much talk you give, but unless and until if it does not reflect in your practice, so it will be all like, people will be preaching, but they won't practicing. So there is no real purpose, and the kind of satisfaction that never comes. And not only that, you will get indebted to that person or that organization or that community. It may be any animal also for that matter, because it is why people are talking of gratitude today, nowadays, because we are getting indebted to everyone. Already we are indebted to nature, environment, and so many things. Now we are also getting indebted to the persons. That means we are increasing our bad karma, because every day, every moment, the only way to reduce indebtedness is only through expressing gratitude. The more you express gratitude, the less the indebtedness. That's why it is very important. It's not important whether the opposite person, the other person, or the other community, or the other organization, whether it's asked for gratitude or not. No one would ask, you express my gratitude towards me. Maybe some people are there who, who can ask you favors, but that's a different aspect. Okay, if they ask, then, you are obliged, or you are under obligation to offer gratitude. If they don't ask also, then you are having a moral or ethical obligation to express your gratitude for their support or services. And Many people do not offer proper gratitude. Okay, expressing gratitude is a different thing. And again, doing it properly is also very important. So when we are, it's like, when we are not expressing gratitude in a proper manner, then what happens? Whom you are expressing gratitude. That because when we are expressing our gratitude to someone, whether it is only one person or a one animal or a one plant, we can express gratitude to anyone, even to one device for that matter, which has helped us. When the complete service or when complete support or help is provided by an individual person or an individual device or an individual entity, then the right way of expressing gratitude is take the name of that person or device or community or organization. We should properly take their name and express our gratitude. This is like, taking some initiation. Like before performing any puja, what we do sankalpa, right? We take initiation that we so and so, we tell all our names of family members, including our gotra. uh, you know Gotra is basically the lineage, the our forefathers and all we all have emerged from these seven Sapta Rishis, and we all are directly connected to the God. And through God, in this process of life, we have our own lineage, which is connecting to the God. So when we are doing some rituals or when we are doing some activities, before starting any activity, we always do initiation. We always take up sankalpa, right? What we are saying, what we are doing, actually, that is nothing but we are seeking the blessings and expressing our gratitude. So this nowadays people, everyone is talking about gratitude, but gratitude is long there, being ritualistically practicing from thousands and thousands of years, especially when you take in Sanatana Dharma. That's why people say when you wake up, you do express your gratitude. And we have, mantras for various, before getting up, we have mantra. After getting up, we have mantra. Just after stepping down, we have mantra. What does this mantra mean? Mantra means, a sentence which has positive vibes, positive affirmations, and our expression of gratitude to entire universe, to various, when we wake up, we thank God for giving us another day. And when we wake up, when we, get up from bed, then we express our gratitude to the nature, environment. And when we step down on the earth, we express our gratitude to Mother Earth. And also lot of microorganisms, bacteria, virus, which are present in the soil, on the floor, because while we are stepping on them, many bacteria gets killed because of our movement. So we are expressing our gratitude and we are seeking their blessings and also forgiveness for, knowingly, unknowingly by, killing and harming many things. So this is the gratitude concept is not new. That's why I always keep saying, you have to read our old scriptures and understand what is the science behind it. Nowadays, people who do not read science, so-called scientists, they have all sorts of comments. They are literally the fools of the present modern day societies, in fact, because in the very first place, they do not understand what is science and what are rituals and why they are performed. And why they are still time tested and long standing. Maybe certain things have become redundant because of the availability of technology, infrastructure, resources. But that doesn't mean, everything is absolute. See, there are certain things when coming to theory and applications, certain theories stand, ahead of time. Still, we are talking in a different way. Like we are always speaking about people selling old wine in a new bottle. They are packaged in a new way, very differently based on these times, and they sell it. Now you have gratitude journal, gratitude book, gratitude diary. They have commercialized. All these are commercial versions which have been already there for free, which are part of our lifestyle, which are part of our culture and traditions, where we express gratitude. So, in a similar way, it is not just expressing gratitude. Why we do? We express our gratitude in a proper way. So, our rituals always give a specific format for expressing gratitude. How we will express our gratitude? We will start expressing with our name, our family member's name, our family name, everything we include. And we say, we express our gratitude through mind, body, and soul with all our, humble respects. And we express our gratitude and we seek your blessings and wishes as we are planning to start so and so, and with good health, wealth, and well-being, prosperity of such initiative. So this is a kind of proper expressing proper gratitude. And we also mention when we are doing certain ritual, whom we are doing, for whom we are doing. Basically, that is also very important. That's why we include, especially when we are doing rituals, like say, suppose some homa or yaga or yagna is performed. We recite, take the name of God, which God we are performing, or to which God we are seeking blessing. Similarly, when we express gratitude to any person, any organization, it is our responsibility, a moral obligation or ethical obligation to express our gratitude to, get away with this indebtedness. Because otherwise, what will happen if we don't express our gratitude? We'll become indebted to them. That means we, unless and until, as long as we do not express our gratitude to them, then that indebtedness will continue, and that will be part of our karma. So now we have to, because we have taken favor from them, we also need to return it. So how we are going to return that favor? The basic simple thing is expressing gratitude. So our rich cultures and traditions, our Vedas, our ancient scriptures have given a very good, those, we can take anything, you can take wealth, you can take in cash or kind or support, anything. But we should always try to be debt free, that we should always try to overcome this indebtedness. So how everyone can overcome? Maybe we cannot give the same thing back to that person or organization or community, but everyone should be, able to return back, or everyone should be able to overcome this indebtedness. So that's why, everyone has the opportunity. That's why our ancient scriptures, these Vedas and various other things, have given certain remedies or certain rituals or certain recommendations, suggestions, where no matter what you are, what caste, creed, religion, or anything you belong to, because Vedic period is the period where we had no religions. It was only Sanatana Dharma. So everyone belongs to only There was no religion concept at the time. Everyone were belonging to Sanatana Dharma. So there was no religion at that time. There was no caste at that time. There was no creed at that time. There was no race. It was a casteless, religionless society at that time initially. So there, the only thing was, no matter what what kind of favor you are taking, what kind of service or what kind of support you are taking, but it's always, you can pay back through expression of gratitude. So everyone can pay back. There is no one who cannot pay back. So how do we overcome indebtedness? How do we pay back to them? It can be always in any matter. The simple remedy, the simple solution they gave is gratitude. But many do not understand this concept. And nowadays, modern education, forget about modern education. It teaches nothing about these values, culture, tradition. So this modern education doesn't provide you all these things. So definitely we do not learn these things in that. And now nowadays, or this has been a trending, practice now, expressing of gratitude, but we talk about gratitude, we don't practice gratitude. That is major problem. Like many laws are there, acts are there, but we keep violating. Most of the people keep violating. They are on the books, they are on the papers, but unless and until they are being practiced, they are enforced or they are implemented, the results will not come. In a similar way, if we don't express our gratitude, what will happen? Will other person will enforce you or tell you or, will force you? No. But it is upon your part to express gratitude that will help us to overcome indebtedness, and that will help us to, perform our duty. So it is important that we express gratitude, not for others, but for our mind, body, soul wellness. So it is through which, that is also one practice, being mindfulness of what we are doing. So expressing gratitude, and that too in a proper way. And doing it mindfully. We can say mindful gratitude, or in other words, we can put mindful gratitude, that expressing gratitude with mind, body, and soul. We say whatever we have to do with mind, body, soul, manasa, vacha, karmana. So that is what mind, body, and soul. So if you don't do with these three elements, then you are not doing it with 100%. So routines create habits, and positive routines can rewire your brain. That is why gratitude should not be in preaching. Gratitude should be part of our routine, should be part of our habit, that will rewire our brain, that will re-energize our positive energies, that will re-energize our aura to be a positive aura. So routine creates habits, and positive routines like expressing of gratitude can rewire your brain, and the mind craves consistency. Try adding some positive self-affirmations to your daily routine. Take some time each day just for you, doing something you love. The small act of self-care can move mountains in terms of confidence building, self-acceptance, and overall well-being. And everyone needs a healthy mind, and a healthy body, and a healthy soul. So the mind is one of the most powerful tools we have to create a healthy life and a better world. So a positive mindset can lead to a stronger immune system, more vitality and energy, a healthy microbiome, reduce stress and cortisol levels, and even balance your hormones. So living a purpose-driven can have a direct impact on your physical health and lifespan. So purpose is foundational to a healthy mindset. As we discussed, it boosts immune system, helps the microbiome thrive, balances hormones, and so much more. So a healthy mind and stable emotions are the foundations of a tolerant and sustainable society. So if you want to make it a better place or world a better place, it all starts with us. It takes a healthy mindset to create a peace and tolerance in our society. As J.J. Myra says, we have a collective responsibilities towards inner transformation to create a just, sustainable, and peaceful world. So with this, we shall conclude the commemoration of International Mind Body Wellness Day. And we will move on to other commemoration. Today is also Humiliation Day. Basically in US. So we all know what is humility, and unlike its literal meaning, we know the meaning of humility, right? But unlike its literal meaning, it's not a day to humiliate one another or spread hatred, but to relinquish our pride and become humble before a higher power to other people. So in this context, the idea of humiliation has its origin in Protestant Christianity, where it means to leave one's pride behind and come as equal human beings before the God. And it is important to be humble ourselves, to stop judging others based on other differences or their differences. Humility Day should be observed by all, regardless of all religion. That's why we all say, even in Sanatana Dharma, it is also mentioned, or it is said, Vasudaivaka Kutumbakam. That means we all belong to one family. We doesn't mean just human beings. Every living being on the planet, every non-living being on the planet, we all belong to one family. We all are family members, and we all are equal. And we all, irrespective of our ego, pride, and other aspects, we all have to be humble and come together and collaborate together for overall well-being of the planet. That is what said. But this day, Humiliation Day, is, though, widely promoted by Protestant Christianity, but this exists even from ancient times. So it is important to be humble ourselves, to stop judging others based on their differences, and this day should end this kind of biases or prejudices. So on July 20, 1775, Congress issued a proclamation recommending the observation of a day of fasting, public humiliation, and the prayer for English colonies under the blessing of King George III. The declaration was distributed to all the towns in the colonies. The goal was to pray for the civil and religious rights and privileges of the colonies. It became a big success with broad participation, and ever since then, Congress has issued a day of humiliation and prayer each year. So General George Washington, Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, also called for a day of fasting, humiliation, and prayer for his soldiers on May 6, 1779. The soldiers ceased all activities and labor for one day. Some presidents didn't make the proclamation during their term. Still, on March 23, 1798, US President John Adams revived the tradition. He recommended observations of a day of solemn humiliation, fasting, and prayer, where the citizens would halt their worldly preoccupation and show their humble selves to a higher power. In the year 1863, US President Abraham Lincoln wrote the Senate stating that the country had to observe a day of humiliation, fasting, and prayer to please God. It was a plea to help the country and its citizens find inner peace and become more spiritual and devoted to God. Humiliation Day has become more secular recently, and acts of kindness and humility are done for more charitable causes than to appease God. So it is also there is a century of humiliation. It is also known as 100 years of national humiliation. The term was used to describe a period in China when foreign powers invaded it. And in India, National Humility Day was observed on April 6, 1919. The day saw a united protest by the natives of the country against the British Empire. And today, count your blessings. Be grateful for what you have today. Try to remain content and not envy others and not, feel jealousy of others. And help those in need. Kindness goes a long way. You can change someone's life by donating in cash or kind or helping out, reaching out at a shelter. And spread the word. If you have friends who don't know about this day, tell them it's a good message to spread. And humiliation is to prevent God's judgment. In Protestantism, a day of humiliation and fasting usually comes after an event that could unleash God's judgment. So it keeps us safe from disasters. Humiliation is observed to keep us safe in the face of drought, flood, fire, military defeat, plague, and so on. So humiliation comes with rituals. In the past, anyone between ages of 16 and 60 was expected to fast, listen to sermons, and meditate regularly. And priest Harry S. Truman established the National Day of Prayer in 1952. And there is also another humiliation day for Chinese Canadians. A different humiliation day is celebrated on July 1st, and it refers to the discrimination they faced in Canada. So based on their variations and significant events, that day can differ from nation to nation. And it helps us to stay content. People around us are always competing against each other. However, it is important to be satisfied with what we have to be truly happy. And humility is one of the best traits to have. This day reminds us to be humble and treat one another with kindness. And letting go of pride and worldly preoccupation helps people become more honest with each other. We can let down our guards and become our genuine selves. So with this, we shall end the commemoration of Humiliation Day. And today is also Festival of Sleep Day in US. So it is created to help to catch on your Z's after a busy festive season. And this day of rest and relaxation means you can snuggle up and doze off. So cancel those plans and plump your best pillow, because the dreamiest ideas for getting a bit of shut-eye along with some fun facts to make sleep your favorite hobby. And we have been enjoying 40 winks ever since the human race came into existence, but we haven't always understood. Early speculation by the ancient Greeks about the reason for sleep was due to lack of circulation, causing the body to become unconscious for a period of time. When it is a rebalance. So theorists were divided at first on whether this was due to the brain or the heart, which were known to be two most important organs. Back then, sleep was separated into a first, second sleep of the day, instead of a single long stretch we enjoy today. In the interlude between sleep, people would socialize and relax. This is routine stayed the same for centuries, but was disrupted by the Industrial Revolution and the invention of artificial light, which allowed for longer working day and therefore pushed together the periods of sleep. The socializing section of the day was moved to before bed instead. The desire for success. Newly industrialized world would be eat into the sleeping time of many workers and business people, as it continues to do today. A new regulation was introduced in Ford in 1926 when it became the first American company to provide employees with a fixed schedule of an 8-hour working day and a 40-hour working week, allowing those on the payroll to get to bed on time. So Festival of Sleep Day is a modern day celebration. Supposedly invented to encourage or recharge our batteries from all lost sleep around the festive season. At the end of the year, it reminds us to practice self-care for coming year and take advantage of the numerous benefits of a good night's sleep. So today you can sleep as long as you like on this day and celebrate sleep by catching up on some, get up late, go to bed early, or even have a nap during the day on this day. And help also others sleep. If you know someone who could do with a few extra winks, help them to get the space they need by taking some things off their plate. The more tired you are from physical exercise, the better you will sleep. So tire out your body before you hit the hay tonight. And dreams stir your imagination. Dreams take place in the rapid eye movement phase, in short known as REM phase of sleep, which occurs in short bursts throughout the night and creates the perfect environment for our brains to travel elsewhere. And while dreaming in color, the norm approximately 12% of the people dream in black and white, just like an old movie. So they can be black and white or color dreams. And when you eat, it kickstarts your metabolism, so making your brain more active. If you sleep too soon after eating, your brain will still be wearing away, churning up, usually bad dreams. So eat at least before 2 to 3 hours before you plan to sleep. That's why we always need to complete our dinner by 7 or 8. So that by the time we sleep by 8, 9 or 10 or 11, nowadays people have their own timings, but try to eat at least 1 to 2 hours before. If possible, ideal time would be 3 hours before sleeping, so that it gets completely digested. And bad dreams happen decreasingly after the age of 10, with greatest intensity occurring between the ages of 3 and 6 years old. So they can be scariest for children, and they can happen to pets too. Even pets also can dream. Pets in the sense animals. Cats, dogs experience dreams as well as humans. So they often move their legs, faces when dreaming, just like us. If you have pets and if you have observed, they sometimes, suddenly wake up, or they keep, making sounds, or sometimes keep moving their hands and legs and different parts of the body while dreaming. And it's all about self-care. Getting a restful night's sleep does wonders for your physical and mental well-being throughout the following day, ensuring you stay happy and healthy. So not only just normal night, whenever you feel very tired or or sad, or just uh, take a fresh bath and have a very good sleep, then you see, that's why sleep is very important to recharge ourselves, not only just psychologically but also physically, so that body also regains its energy back. And it's relaxing. It's so easy to get burnt out with the stresses of daily life. So these days, especially sleeping allows us to take load off and recharge our batteries. And it improves our memory and concentration, because continuous flow of thoughts will always keep straining us, and we'll be, not able to remember too much if it is not well organized. So it can be, so by taking off from thinking and just relaxing, keeping thoughts down or to a limited number, what will happen? We try to improve our focus and try to remember more. When we sleep, we consolidate our learning and memories from the day, meaning a good night's sleep is more likely to improve our memory in the long run. And we have similar commemoration like World National Napping Day on March 13th, and Sleep Awareness Week from March 13th to 19th. So with this, we shall conclude the commemoration of Festival Nap Day. And today is also Women Rock Day. So prepare to head back to oblivion in the honor of women who rocked and rolled. So if you are a woman who enjoys music or who plays music or musical instruments, this day is especially dedicated for you. So what's waiting for? Pick up your musical instrument and start playing, and keep, generating giant waves. The women, especially this day, is to honor many brilliant women who has contributed to the rock genre and caused giant waves in the world of music. These women paved the way for the future generations by breaking into the male-dominated spaces. We pay tribute to them, especially many female musicians who were pioneers in their own right. The famous solo artists like Grace Slick, Janis Joplin, to female rock bands like the Runaways, who helped the set stage for the female artists to perform freely. Many women created niche and assumed their rightful position within the mainstream rock scene. The queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner, whose career began in the mid-50s, performed for more than half a century before retiring in 2009. She had sold more than 200 million records worldwide, one of the best-selling recording artists of all the time. As this is basically, in US, we are not quoting Indian, but music is, across the boundaries. We do have this day can also be celebrated even in other countries, because music has no boundaries, and women and music are there across the globe. So this can be celebrated everywhere. So in 1960s, Janis Joplin became one of the first female artists to overturn the girl singer stereotype in folk and pop music. She refused rock and blues into her music and influenced many artists. Joplin's career shot into success in 1967 when she performed with Big Brother and the Holding Company at the Monterey Pop Festival. Unfortunately, she passed away soon after. The Pat Benatar was one of the first woman to contribute to the genre of hard rock. In 1979, she released her first album titled In the Heat of the Night, which shot her to instant fame. Her subsequent album solidified her position as one of the famous rock acts, and she became one of the first and most frequently played artists on MTV in 1981. Around the same time, Chrissy Hindi, after many unsuccessful attempts to get her name out there, was chosen by a record label owner based on her demo tape. The label put her in band with a few others, and they became known as the Pretenders. Their self-titled debut album was released in 1979, and the band became one of the forerunners of the 80s new wave movement. It isn't possible to talk about rock music without mentioning Joan Jett. After breaking out one of the first female rock bands in the 70s, the Runaways Jett went to have an even more successful career with her own band, the Black Hearts. They released their first album in 1981, titled I Love Rock and Roll, and became a super hit. On January 3rd, 1987, Aretha Franklin, famously called the Queen of Soul, became the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Women Rock Day has celebrated on every year of this event since then. So many claim that Janis Joplin was the first American female rock star. She shot at stardom with her album Summer of Love, which was released in 1967. And Patti Smith has been given the title of Godmother of Punk. Her debut album, Horses, released in 1975, charts among the greatest albums list of magazines such as Rolling Stone, Time, and Enemy. So to become a rock star, you need to be able to make music, or you should be able to sing, or you should be able to play some instrument or make some music. And also you need to practice, have the ability to engage listeners and perform in front of big crowds of people. That would make you a rock star. And as we are commemorating Women Rock Day, there is no better way to support our favorite female artists and show them that their music is worth the money than buying and listening to them. Purchase a physical copy of a disc or classical vinyl, or stream their music on many legal digital platforms available today. So if you are someone who loves making them themed playlists, this is your shot. Create a women rock playlist and maybe find some new music along the way. And more of bookworm than a music lover? That's fine too, because internet has plenty of music articles about women in rock. So read them all time best and be inspired of their stories. Janis Joplin is said to have once smashed a bottle on Jim Morrison's head, knocking him out cold, a different kind of headbanging, sarcastically. The godmother of rock and roll, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, was awarded the title for her milestone achievements in the genre. And Aretha Franklin taught herself to play the piano, was a self-taught genius. So you, at times, don't need a teacher, music teacher, to teach you. You can start learning by your own, but always you might require a guidance from an expert, though not as a full-time, but at least when you need some support. And Elvis Presley hit song wasn't his own. Presley's hit song Hound Dog was originally released by Big Mama Thornton in 1953. And Janis Ian was SNL's first musical guest. So she appeared on the Saturday Night Live in 1975 and performed with strep throat and a fever. Now, paying tribute to the historic achievements of these women artists is necessary. Their efforts need to be celebrated and recognized. At the time when men dominated the Jinnan, the women broke in and created their space. Their contributions to rock music help female artists to this day. And music transcends gender. It all allows us to experiment with our creativity and realize our maximum potential. And this day enforces it. So with this, we shall conclude this commemoration today. And thank you, everyone. Today is also Fruit Cake Toss Day. Hope you all have enjoyed fruit cakes. And today is also Drinking Straw Day. And you can imagine how drinking straws are contributing, and without which, we might have difficulty of drinking, sipping up from cans or bottles. And today is also National Chocolate Covered Cherry Day. The Lucius confection brightens our outlook for whatever waits for the new year ahead. And with this, we shall end today's commemorations. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And hope you all have enjoyed. If you have any queries, observations, comments, feel free to share. Otherwise, we shall conclude this session by taking feedback. So feedback form has been raised in the form of polls. So quickly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory to generate certificate because the details are collected through feedback form. Those who have not registered themselves for the webinar series, registration link has been shared in the chat box. You can register even now also or after this session, after you complete the feedback or before you complete the feedback. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. And while you are filling up the feedback, you are feel free to share your comments or observations. You can unmute yourself or you can use chat box to share your comments or observations. So thank you, everyone. I express my gratitude to each one of you for being part of this wonderful event and gaining, hope you all have gained good insights on the commemorated topics. And see you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night. You can download your certificates after specified time from the website.